Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you all for attending tonight's December 16th, 2024 last council meeting of the year. I'll call to order at 6:30 p.m. I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any additions or corrections to the agenda? None. I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll move to accept the agenda as written.
Thank you, Counselor Ash. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Norman.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay.
Motion carried.
Moving right into the mayor's report. I'll turn it over to Cherie. She has the honor as Citizen of the Month in December. So, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yep.
So as most of us know, Salmon Fest was kind of experienced a handoff this year towards the Watershed Council. And so Maggie and Corey and Spence from the Watershed Council chaired up a lot of that work. And then they had help from Paula Hansen, Brian Tingle, who I don't see with us, and Dale Webb. So for my Citizen of the Month for December 2024, I've got Maggie Payton, Corey Aludo, Spencer Kroll, Paula Hansen, Brian Tingle, and Dale Webb. And from everyone I talked to in the community, everyone agrees that they did a really, really excellent job, and it was a lot of work. So. And now you guys have to be in a picture.
Come on in.
Yeah. Well, Dale got it twice in 1 month.
Oh, come on in, Gil.
We're gonna get Tim and Donald.
Self-explanatory.
Because it doesn't have to duck.
I moved my cup so I wouldn't be in the picture.
Yeah, I'm one of the taller.
Nice camera, I guess. Evidence.
Yes.
You should have brought salmon.
Okay, everybody, ready? 1, 2, 3. We'll do one more and one more. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Together.
Good job. Yeah, thank you.
Really practicing up, Dale.
I know.
You have a good poker hand.
We don't need to hold you hostage.
Where do I redeem these in at?
Evan.
Yeah. Oh, let's don't talk about that.
Okay, any presentations? None. Counselor committee meeting reports. I have one if you don't. Okay, senior board meeting last Friday. Last one of the year kind of thing. Had a good meeting, a total of 685 meals served in the month of November. We did have a resignation from the board, but we filled that position on Friday. And then we re-elected some officers, including myself as president. Probably the biggest thing that came out of the meeting is we're planning for a vision of what 2025 is going to look like in July. And we're gearing up to get a committee place to take a look at that. And what that basically says is we're not under the umbrella anymore of certain, like, for example, age requirement. Right now it's nobody under the age of 60 can participate in the activities there, but that's going to change this next year. So I think, Joe, that's going to be on the committee, I think.
Sure.
Yeah,
Said I would.
yep. And myself and Charlie Gibbon and some other people, so.
I sent them the 7-month countdown.
Right.
Like you only have 7 months to go until you're not under CDBG guidelines and you can host fundraisers and do all the things.
Time really flies. So it was a good meeting. Our next meeting is January 10th. And so one other thing, they're going to have, the senior center is going to host Christmas Day dinner 2 times for that, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So, but you need reservations in advance. I don't think they could take more than 50 at a time. So that'll be a fun day for that. So,
Give them a call.
yep.
93327.
That's all I have on that. So topics from the floor. Looks like we have 2. Okay. Thank you. Steve Weller. Sure.
Steve Weller, 1264 G Street, resident of Vernonia. And my question, I would have come and asked you earlier today, but somebody decided I needed to haul rock all day long pretty consistently. And I'm just curious where we stand on this committee situation that was talked about 3 or 4 councils ago or months ago about possibly setting up a committee to look at this nuisance abatement situation that we have all over town. But we, obviously, you know, my concern is in my own backyard from the issues we have up there. And I'm just curious if there's anything going forward yet at this point as far as having staff work on that.
So council had a work session with code enforcement staff. We went over the code. She went over her processes with them. They did not push it to another date.
Correct.
Do you guys want to add anything to that?
Well,
And add another date to go over it.
right, because there's been a change in the new honor or court system. And the feeling was that this is going to be a more progressive situation to deal with some of those issues versus what's been going on in the past. So code enforcement was pushing back to let us continue down our path. I think they're going to have better outcomes.
So our tickets end up in justice court here. Previous to this year, we had a judge that would try to mediate, give them extensions of time when we had already given them 90 days to come compliant. She would give them then another 90 days. And that person no longer is in that position. The current judge sat down with Eva and went over all of her code with her of what we want everyone held to. And he seems like he has no problem enforcing that code.
So in other words, there could be some expediency to what's been the past track record.
Yes.
Faced a little bit with a little.
The tickets, yeah, he's holding people accountable. Yeah.
Okay, I just hadn't heard anything. I would have come and talked to
Yeah,
you today. I didn't get the chance. I thought, well, come tonight and we can
Yeah.
ask some questions.
Yeah.
And see what's at. So I'm glad to hear that.
So we're hoping with the new position, we'll be able to get our stuff through in a timelier fashion instead of this long drawn out where the ticket's here and the adjudication's 3 months later.
Right.
Because then everyone's frustrated.
That's all I had. So just curious where we were at and how, hadn't heard anything, so I can get some information. Thank you.
It's a really good workshop, Steve, I might add. You know,
It's on the city's website. You could listen to it.
So, and do you, I mean, because it affects us, there's several neighbors in our neighborhood that have been concerned about it for a number of years. Is there any way you could send us notification via email or anything to let us know when the next workshop was going to be?
Yeah, I could.
yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be very helpful. I would understand.
Sure.
See where we're at and what's going on. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next one, Fabienne.
Good evening.
Hi.
Fabienne Tournay. I live at 1527 North Louisiana Avenue. So along with some neighbors of Louisiana Avenue, we wanted to talk about some speeding issues that have been occurring now that Louisiana Avenue goes through. It turns out that I was living on the cul-de-sac and Brandy Zimbelman was living on the cul-de-sac also. And now people are speeding past our houses, except we still live on a gravel road. There's no street light and the gravel road is basically one lane. So we wanted to address the issue because Louisiana Avenue is a very long avenue. One portion is paved and has the space for 2 cars, but the northern portion of Louisiana Avenue is still gravel, kind of not straight. And people now are speeding up and down. So we wanted to talk about possible solutions. Because Josette told me that by state law, that street is supposed to be at 25 miles per hour from one end to another. But in reality, we have no sidewalks, no street lights. And 5 days ago, I was almost run over by a truck, a pickup truck, driven by teenagers. And they destroyed some mailboxes. And so it's extremely dangerous. And even in the daytime, there's a lot of high school kids that take Louisiana for their warm-up jog. So basically, we have a little issue, and I haven't really been able to flag down people from the neighborhood to tell them to slow down. There's a lot of construction happening on North Louisiana Avenue too, with trucks. There was a waste management truck that flew by the other day. So we wanted to see if there was the possibility of putting some speed bumps or temporarily lowering the speed limit until the road is widened and maybe paved. So see what we could do about that.
So when we talked, I said we can easily put speed signs up. We can even do like a children at play, slow down. We can do enforcement. So police parking up there and catching a few people goes a long way, and the radar trailer. The tricky part about the speed bumps, because I talked to our engineer, is they're not going to stay.
Yeah, because it's gravel.
And most likely the kids in the truck would find them fun. So we're trying to right? But we can, the tricky thing is it matters the classification of a street, not the condition. So that street's seen as a collector in the transportation plan. And that is a 25 speed limit. So it's hard to put it down to 20 because until we get more building up there, the paving might be a few years down the road, down the way.
Honestly, if I'm being very honest, on the gravel part, 15 would be better than 20.
I know.
On the paved part, 20 is fine. Because you have the space for everybody to walk.
Yeah.
And everything, but on our portion, on the northern portion.
So the tricky part about that is speed limits, as you know, are basically, unless the cop's there to catch you, are on the honor system, right? You're trusting all your fellow citizens are going to go the speed limit, but without a police officer, we can't say that person was going 28 unless the police officer catches them. So I think we should try signage, some enforcement, the radar trailer, just kind of get a presence up there so they're uncomfortable passing that way.
In any case, if
Yeah.
the police officer is there and catches them at 24, it's too fast for that road, but it's the speed limit, it's the legal speed limit. So we have a problem because applying the law right there doesn't help us. It's still dangerous for our residents, our pets, our kids. So,
yeah, I mean, we've never gone against it, but I could look into that if that's something you guys want me to look into.
I wonder if there's some special exemptions in the laws for.
Not in public roads. In private, you can make any, but I can look into it. We can start with the things I already said, and then I could, if you guys want me to, I could look into, can you classify it differently because of that it's narrow and gravel. And is that something you all would like me to look into
Sure.
or?
I think until it's paved, because it is kind of a bit of a grade up there, and
Yeah.
with the gravel, it's gonna get muddy and rutted out in winter too.
The tricky part is then there's other gravel roads. Then are they going to expect that? Does that make sense? So one little change could affect other change. So that's why I want to look into, maybe Ben can show me what else exists gravel out there that could have the same issue. And then we could look at what we can do if that's something you guys want.
Go ahead, Dale.
And the other thing, maybe, or police department, they usually allow a certain amount of discretion over on speed limits, and maybe we'll put the word out that
Yeah, this
there's
is,
going to be no discretion over.
yeah.
That 25 is,
Well, and even 20, I mean, even if you're going under the speed limit, if your speed is causing it to be unsafe, that can also be a violation. So, okay, so.
I feel we need to address the public to let them know that we're maybe discussing that and let them know, because there's some speed signs at the bottom of South Louisiana saying 25. So in people's mind, it might be like, oh, it's 25 all the way. That would make total sense to them. So how do we get the word out?
Well, I got to look into, can we post 20?
Okay.
By, can the city legally not get in hot water doing that? And then come tell the council about that, the first meeting of January. So January 6th, I think it is. But I can bring this all back to them. Meantime, they can start doing presents, the radar trailer, get some
Okay.
signage up, some posts and whatever signage.
Once again, particularly between the Hill and G Street, 20 is too much.
yeah.
Because there's really one lane.
No, I know. I hear what you're saying. I'm just stuck to certain rules. So I'm willing to go investigate, can we do it? Can we lower it to something that's of the city's discretion? But in the short term, we'll get the police up there. We'll put the radar trailer up there so people, get people uncomfortable if they're going to go.
And obviously, if we see some neighbors passing fast, we can try to flag them
Yeah.
to sensitize.
Yeah, and just be like, hey.
That now it's open and used to
Yeah.
be closed and it's very narrow and it's dangerous. But yeah, if there was a deterrent.
Yeah, and you only need a couple, maybe one teenager to get caught and it'll spread like wildfire. That it's not worth it because the neighbors are looking out their windows and they're going to call in your license plate for reckless driving or something. I mean, we did that on our property. We told one child that we knew that we had buried concrete on our property and he's going to ruin his truck if he drives down there, and a kid has never gone back there.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can be thoughtful and be like, hey, you don't want the ticket your friend got.
Yeah, and I posted on the Vernonia Facebook page what happened with that truck 5 days ago.
Yeah.
To spread the word, to see,
People are out there, yeah.
to see some obstacles, things like that. But yeah, I don't want an accident. I mean, Brandy has a 3-year-old grandchild. I have a dog that was the king of the neighborhood for 5 years, laying in the road. So I'm trying to get him to not do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all trying to do our part so that it's safe. So
Yeah.
thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you much.
Could I dovetail in on that? You're talking the Louisiana. Am I allowed to?
Well, we're going to move on with the meeting.
Okay.
Consent agenda for acceptance, Public Works Committee meeting minutes for October 2024.
I'll move we approve the consent agenda for acceptance.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Consent agenda for approval, City Council meeting minutes for December 2nd, 2024. Any discussions or questions? Dale?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda for approval.
I'll second.
Second it?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you, Josette. Any unfinished business? No. New business, Public Works Committee recommendation, Dark Skies Initiative. So,
I think Michael said he was going to run a little late, so we might want to put him at the tail end here.
You want to skip it? The presenter is not present.
we can, yeah,
Coming, but he's,
okay,
okay.
sure.
So we'll move to,
Request for 2025 fireworks show. Eric? Do it.
So thank you all for allowing me to be here tonight. And the fireworks show went really well last year. And I very much appreciate your contribution last year. And I would just like to see if that was a possibility again for next year. And maybe forever.
Maybe more, you said?
forever. You said forever.
Or until I get sick of doing fireworks, which will be a long time.
What did we donate last year?
$1,000.
$1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just, if you guys are in favor of that, you could direct staff to put that in the budget document
Oh, okay.
because it, right?
Need a motion for that then? Sure.
I'll move to approve the 2025 fireworks show and ask staff to put $1,000 in the budget.
Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Council Norman.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great fireworks
Thank you.
last year, Eric.
Thank you. I kept all my fingers and everything. Forever.
Thank you for doing that again forever. Okay, Public Works Committee, year-end review, page 8.
Did you want the chair of the Public Works Committee to come up and go over it, or?
I don't know, it's pretty self-explanatory unless you have any questions. We're the best per ordinance 80, right? At the end of the year, we can watch everything that we accomplish, so. Unless you have any questions about those specific things.
No?
Good.
Point out, this is the second year in a row that the Public Works Committee has actually met the requirements of, in our ordinance,
I know.
providing their accomplishments for the year.
They got a gold star.
It's for us though, too.
It is.
It's something that our community can talk about, so we've done, and it's good.
We appreciate it, Sheila.
Okay, staff report, fire alarm system.
Come on. Okay. Did you guys read it? Do I need to read it?
I was,
Have any questions?
I
But
was-
yeah, it was, we were having issues with it prior to switching over to the voice over IP system anyway. So it's as old as the building. So the libraries hasn't been working for months. And when we had the technicians come out to try to fix it, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So regardless of the issue that ended up forcing it to happen is it would have been on its way out. So like it says in here, we've got two different bids. One was almost half of what our current provider quoted us. So we would like to go with Point Monitor, and we've got most of it already in the budget. We'll only need to come up with about $5,000 to pay for the whole thing. So we had in facilities reserve, we had the 15,000 budgeted, so, but it's something we need. We have to have,
we have to.
we have to have a functioning fire alarm, so
mandated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we just.
It's like AMCO transmission, pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah, so we
Well,
just,
and we were flabbergasted that we've been the customer of the one that gave us the high bid for 25 years. And they don't want to keep doing the work when we were like, hey, this seems really expensive. They don't want to.
Yeah.
So you go to the,
yeah, so the new system will work off of a cell tower rather than landlines.
So to clarify, point monitors, $1,400 a year, and the other one is over $1,800 a year,
yeah.
or $18,000.
Yes.
Yeah. That's our current
on top of
provider.
The installation. It makes no sense. I asked lots of questions because I was.
We even did apples to apples bid.
$18,000.
That's what it says, yeah. And I have it all right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolute, I couldn't believe it. I sent it, I mean, we went through it all line by line to make sure they weren't
Bidding difference.
bidding, more than we needed. And they took out a handful of things, but it was still just crazy. It makes no sense.
And Point Monitor is who services the senior center food bank. That's who was hired to put that system in over there. And they've been working out great.
Mhm.
The Learning Center? Yeah.
Learning Center does its own.
It
They have,
has its separate.
yeah, it has its own and seniors pay that.
Any other discussion or questions? Would anyone like to make a motion to authorize staff to sign point monitor?
I'll make a motion that we let staff sign a contract with Point Monitor for fire protection service.
Very good, so moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Counselor Webb.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Business from the department. Ordinances and resolutions, resolution 2024-12, certifying election results. 10 through 13. I don't know what to say.
Well, it's just adopt the resolution, taking in the certified results from the county.
Anyone like to make a motion for that resolution?
Not terribly exciting, but.
Oh,
I'll move we adopt resolution number 2024-12, a resolution of the city of Vernonia, Oregon, certifying the results of the November 5th, 2024 general election.
so moved. Thank you, Counselor Webb. Is there a second?
All second.
Seconded by Counselor Ash.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Any correspondence?
Just this for you guys, and it's the save the date for the port is the host for the next city county dinner. It'll be at the Elks Lodge in St. Helens. Scan the QR code with your phone. We're getting fancy now.
Boy.
Stephanie and I don't like it, but this city recorder is bringing people into the new age. And so if you know you're going to go, you can let me know, or you can let Stephanie know.
Okay.
So if you know you're going right now, I'll let her know for you, or you can let her know at a later date.
I'll be going, Josette.
With a guest or just by yourself?
With a guest.
Okay.
I'll go, probably by myself.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Got to check with the boss.
Okay.
Okay. City administrator report.
Okay. So still waiting till February or March for the testing of the old dump well up there off Noakes. This ODF docs information is very behind the times, but I'll go over it.
Yeah.
The docks have been delivered and offloaded. Big thanks to Lida Excavating for their equipment and staff assistance with the offload. Also thanks to council members Normand and Webb. The offload went very well. The walk-on dock has been launched and anchored by councilors Normand and Webb. The next is installing the railings on the docks, which is now complete, and the launching of the docks into the lake, which happened today. Thanks to Councilor Norman, Councilor Webb, Ed Toss, Mitch and Tim. They're in floating and we just are gonna, are you still thinking Thursday for getting over to the sites and getting the ramps on them? That's the plan. Thursday, is that the plan?
Okay,
Yes.
just checking with Donald. I'm going to try through.
Okay. So once they get the ramps on them and get anchored in, then public can try them out. So that's exciting. The Brown Contracting was in town last week, surveying the crosswalks. I'm sure you saw them. They're still expecting to arrive in March to start the ramp constructions. The union, I did talk to the police again, and their union representative, they've all agreed to it. Their union representative, Sam, is reviewing it, and I'm hoping to bring it to you in the 1st of January meeting for your authorization for us to sign it. Since not much has changed and we're 1 year into the current contract we're signing, so. East Springboard Sewer Project, the project's moving towards completion. We met with CDBG representatives on Wednesday and went over the 40-page compliance checklist, did all the things they require us to do, and sent all the things they needed that were missing. The last item is I have to go to the school, which is going to be in January, and do a fair housing activity and talk to them about the fair housing laws of Oregon and what that means for them and their families. And I'm going to give them a coloring book and have this whole lesson. That's a requirement for us to do that. And then they're digging in Hawkins Park, which is the last of the connection of the sewer. And then Thursday, we're going to meet at our construction meeting, and then we won't have one until January, most likely, about restorative, what we're going to do for the park grasses, how we're going to winter those over so that we can come back when it's grass growing time and seed them and get them back looking good for the summer. DQ upcoming permit. So the process closed on December 10th, as you guys know. Public Works staff submitted their comment about the 65% treatment when we have high flow times, or that's going to be really difficult when we have a lot of dilution because there is not 65% of debris to treat out of the diluted water. So we made that comment. Also, Council President Webb made a comment about the hyporheic on council's behalf and submitted that as well. And then I have a correction. On the upcoming meetings, my city hall closed should have said we're closed Christmas Eve and Christmas and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because we're not closing any of the middle days. We're just closing those 2 days because invariably everybody takes their vacation hours and one person draws the short straw to sit here for 4 hours and nobody calls. And nobody does anything and no one answers your emails back. So you're just on the short straw. So we thought, why do that? So I did post it on the reader board and it's posted on both doors. So people will be aware of that. And then I'll post on the bottom half where to call for emergency. Should we have a water break or need PD? And then our next meeting together is Monday the 6th.
Okay, go ahead.
Did we hear anything from Counselor Wagner about an updated verbiage for the signs?
No, not from the time she was here till when she was gone.
So are we wanting to continue to table that or can we get some signs.
You guys could easily vote for the respect our families sign that I presented to you, and I'll get those ordered if respect doesn't vote for you. The word respect.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem.
I'm okay with it.
I thought it was very polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay.
I'd rather see them get something.
So you guys could just do a consensus, direct me to order the sign.
Yeah, I'll give you a thumbs up.
No smoking. Ben made like a respect our families. Please don't smoke in the park.
We'll give you a consensus to order that.
Okay.
We tabled it and waited for suggestions, so I don't feel bad.
No, I think yeah,
Dragging it along. Another new year.
yeah.
Okay, what was the outcome? Didn't you guys interview for chief position?
No,
No. Wasn't people like selected to do that?
you guys picked your panel members, but we haven't done it. My plan was to, so because we don't have, I need the union contract signed. That's kind of one of the undones. Because this person will manage all of them. Our current person is not in that agreement, right? So it's kind of weird. So I told him I am going to post internally and move forward on the chief thing. The union contract needs to be signed. So they're under a contract before I'm hiring a chief.
Is there an amount of time with them not signing this long that it just goes into a?
No, it's all messed up from when we had to stall to sign the first time, and then we went into the year we're in. I don't think it doesn't have a.
No, it should, but
Yeah.
it was.
I mean, we might add that. Should they send it back to us, we're going to have to respond to this much time
Well,
clause.
and I think there was just so much turnover.
And it's a brand new
And they didn't-
person
Yeah.
representing the union that's never.
Yeah, they don't know how to be the union rep. So we kind of had to push him along and it made it take longer.
When do you anticipate possibly that being signed, Josette?
Well, my goal is to bring it to the January 6th.
January, okay.
For you guys to review the little tweak we had to do about vacation time and then just sign it. Just authorize me to sign it and then it's done.
And then that'll move the rest of that
Yes.
along?
Yes.
Okay. Cameras at Spencer Park.
So we need a poll.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to deliver them to us. They, like we said
Cameras.
before,
Pole, yes,
well, remember they offered us all of these things and then
I know.
yeah. So it's kind of just one of those things.
Well, they're back on board for doing it, right?
They're doing it.
They're doing
just
it.
Waiting for us to.
We got to get the poll.
And then they'll come out and do the install.
So what do we need to do to get the pole?
Order the poll.
We ordered the pole.
We can't. It's not like there's not a million plates spinning though. Everybody's
I
acting.
understand, it's been like 4 years, so I know it's not, I'm not saying you've been waiting 4 years, but it's a long time.
Yeah. It is.
Thank you.
Could be an action item somewhere, maybe.
Put it in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already on the priority list.
Right.
I mean, in the scheme of things, everybody has their favorite things on that list that they want done. And like I said to you guys, the reason we have that list is we can't do it all simultaneously. So some things fall off and some things, just the nature of the business.
Okay, any other questions for Josette? Okay, thank you, Josette.
Yep.
Michael Calhoun. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Michael.
Let there be light. Oh, sorry.
Michael Calhoun, Vernonia, Oregon, here to speak on the Dark Sky Initiative from the Public Works Committee recommendation following up from the presentation last year. And I want to state right now, early on, that before I take a deep dive, that I'm here tonight to speak specifically about the downtown lights on Main Street, Vernonia. It mentions an ordinance. I'm happy to go into detail in that later, but I just want to say that straight up front so the two conversations don't get crossed and then everyone starts to get confused. But had a guest speaker last year, Don Nielsen, who was a representative of the Oregon chapter of the International Dark Sky Association, talked about the benefits of communities having dark sky focus in their planning for infrastructure and the differences of colors for the Kelvin rating. And so I was asked to look into more information into that and bring it to Public Works Committee and see what they had to say. And if they were yay on board, then bring it forward to council to speak to that and answer any questions. And I hope council has seen that there's an example of the colored light. And then Josette, as you ordered, thank you for getting that. So I wanted to open up to what your thoughts are that you now, rather than on paper, you see it in person, thoughts, and I could try and answer questions.
So I will make one clarifying statement. They are not the same lumens. We could not get, so the white light or the blue, the current lights are 5,000 lumens. The 2200 light is 4360. So it's about 600 lumens less. So if you're seeing dimmer, it is that lumen. It isn't necessarily the color causing we can't get match and match, right? So it's going to look a little dimmer because it's about 600 lumens less. And lumens are what are the intensity of the light.
And an average 60 watt bulb is about 800 lumens, so it's less than about an average bulb. But yeah, I was curious about thoughts from council and just could go into more detail.
Okay, so clarify for me, the bright one is 5,000.
5,000 Kelvin and 5,000 lumens.
Okay.
The oranger one.
By the library door.
Yep, is 4,360 lumens and 2,200 Kelvin.
2,200 rather than 2,000.
Yeah, we couldn't find a 2,000.
Yeah, but
2,200 is the only one.
very similar. What's the cost of these?
It was about $42 or $49 for a bulb, and with 33 bulbs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A little over 1,300. And when we talked about, if we want to talk about cost first thing, so I brought it up to Public Works Committee and we discussed the costs. No one fell out of their chair, which was good, but it was also making sure that this isn't depleting really from another fund. And as former chair of the Public Works Committee for years, that was what we talked about. When we bring up possible proposals, how do we make sure that this is not going to funnel away from something else, that we have the resources available to do this. And one of the things we talked about is if it was moved forward, be under the street fund rather than the general fund, and then just work it into the budget. But as long as it wasn't depleting. If it was, I would not be proposing that because I know there's a lot to-do list of things in Vernonia. But one of the things I don't know if I mentioned at the last meeting, because this was a year ago now, part of this was having the community be more, not just environmentally friendly, but health for people, et cetera. One of the things that Stubb Stewart State Park, they're on the verge of becoming an officially certified dark sky park, but they're on hold for a bit to kind of see what the city of Vernonia does. And if Vernonia does go a route with having more of a warmer color temperature, they'd like to partner with us for having ecotourism for night sky to be able to view the stars. There's an organization in Portland called the Rose City Astronomers. They're folks that go out to rural communities, stargazing, et cetera. But a lot of where they go is East Oregon, but it's such a trip for people that Vernonia is the more likely place for people from Portland to come visit the community and the nearby surroundings. And I don't want to be a fire hydrant of information, but I can answer in detail all the benefits of the Kelvin that's more warmer versus cooler for communities. But I would like to hear from council, just thoughts on seeing the bulbs.
I'm supportive, definitely. I think I believe in the dark sky initiative, and so I don't understand why we're only pushing for downtown. I think especially our larger commercial buildings that throw off a lot of light would be a good next candidate as well. But I know there was concern that seemed like, I don't know if you guys were thinking that we wouldn't be for that, and I can't speak for everyone, but I personally am supportive of that.
I like the shade myself personally. It's more of a vintage look to me, and it kind of matches the light poles. It's more of a antique type vision, if you will. I like them. I think it would look good downtown with our older buildings. And I think you could, they illuminate enough light where you could actually see pretty good.
And that's, I think, the key word, it's dark sky initiative, not dark streets. Where we're going to still, safety is the concern. It's just accounting for sky glow. And if anyone here, when you leave Vernonia, you go to a nearby community, when you start to see that glow, that specifically is the blue light that's emanating from white LEDs. With a warmer color temperature, you don't get that sort of halo effect in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a warm look to me. The streetlights downtown sometimes are just a little bit on the harsh side to me when you look down the street. It's just a little bit. Some people think it's more light. I don't know. I'm going to have to play with putting something there underneath it and standing back. Can I see it as well under each one or
Hide and
whatever?
seek.
Yeah.
But I think one point we want to clarify, one, we're not adopting an ordinance. We'd want to do it just a resolution. So it's just a policy of the city of Vernonia this is our specification, not only for ourselves, but for our streetlight vendor, West Oregon Electric, that we're setting an expectation. So it's a whole different discussion to bring in our ordinances into this. And we talked about that in our public works meeting, that we didn't want to do that at this time. We wanted to, I think you set the tone, lead by example. Maybe down the road, we write it in when we're in a revision or something, if we think that's needed. But and the other part of it is we have the businesses downtown. We want to get their input. I think staff was thinking about kind of surveying some of the businesses and get their input on all this. And then I think the paper is going to have an article, and I think we should let our citizens weigh in on this because it's their town.
So the tricky part,
Yeah, I know.
how surveys are, if the town says opposite of what council wants to do, that's the thing. So we should be careful about saying vote, because if their votes win, they'll want to win, even if it's the opposite of council. So maybe what we do is we say, give them a note, if we're talking downtown businesses and the public, hey, please go review the test here. The test is here at the library. If you have something to say, we pick a meeting where that is where people come. You can submit a document to Stephanie to be read into the record. You could come, you could be on Zoom, you could come in person, and we actually give them a chance to speak their mind rather than a vote. Because if we do a vote and they vote for something and you guys vote against it, that will be a bad thing, I think. So I think more of a information and come share your point of view and why you like or don't like, and then you'll get a real picture of what the citizens may send you or Zoom in or be in person.
I think you have
So can I say one other thing?
Sure.
One of the things that's missing out of this before council goes the route of like doing a resolution and deciding this, there is some other costs. So I don't want to shortchange the costs. So we don't know but the one we had to put in for the test needed the adapter. So the housing size of the 2200 bulb is a E26, the bulb base. The housing in some of our light bulbs is E39, so you have to get that fitter. We had to order a fitter to go on the bulb and then go in the thing, right? So there's going to be a little bump up about $10 to $12 per that needs an adapter. Plus, it is not, there is some man hours that are going to be a hit against streets, just so you know. And then should they get up there and find bulbs, the bulb cover is broken, we would want to replace that immediately too. So it won't just be 1,400. It probably is going to be more like, with shipping and man hours and everything, 2,000 to 2,500 is my guess. To do it all at once. We have one extra light. I think I have one more pole than you have on your count, but that's not a huge amount, but if I come and say the bill is this and you guys go, well, you said it would be 1,400. I'm telling you right now, it's not only going to be 1,400.
Part of what we're hoping for with the partnership between Stewart and the Rose City Astronomers is that the extra income would be funneled back into the community with the tourism.
So Donald, do you have anything to add? One way or the other? And then you'll get a feel of our council.
I don't think we have 5 years on the new lights we just put in.
We don't.
And we just went through a rehab putting them in. And I'm sure they're going to last another 5 years. I could see changing the bulbs as those burn out, but as to go through and do a total rehab, I don't feel that's necessary in my book.
I feel like the hodgepodge, if you started changing out one here, one there, wouldn't be a great look.
Yeah.
I would think it would look good to do them all at once.
I can always investigate if there's a second market for corn cob LEDs. There may be. I don't know. There may be some industry that'll eBay buy your old bulbs for a half price or something. I don't know. I mean, if you go that.
Where we would use them ourselves somewhere.
Yeah, they're not the same. I have 10,000 lumens in the play shed. Otherwise, they're the same thing. They're just way more lumens for the task lighting for basketball. But, so where's council at? Do you want me to engage with a note to the businesses and then you table this and your January 6th or the second meeting in January is your, hey, public, come tell us what you think, or where are you guys at with it? What do you want to do?
Dale?
You are going to put an article?
Article will be in the issue that comes out on Thursday.
Okay. So the public will be aware. People have already seen, I had somebody already text me about this already, so.
Oh. So I think the article and then maybe we've tabled it, come share your opinion on this date and you pick one of the meetings that you ask the public to come and you're going to revisit it, hear people out and decide on a date if you want.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
Mayor, can I ask a qualifying question? So we're just talking about just the downtown strip to the bridge?
All the poles that are this.
The black.
Yes, so behind City Hall, the library, West Oregon Electric.
Okay.
Theirs are the same ones. And then these downtown ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
33 of them.
Putting out the correct info.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I think there's 34 total because Michael missed the one. There's one hiding in the back door of City Hall.
Gotcha.
You don't really see it unless you walk out that door. So what date are you guys wanting to table it to this? Do you want to give them the second meeting of January?
I think we need a lot of time for him.
What's it going to be?
Everybody's busy on the holidays.
20th?
I don't know either. It's going to be the 20th. Does that sound good? January 20th. It's a big day all around.
Ignorant question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, Josette. Would there possibly be, if an exchange with the ones there to give us credit?
No, they don't take back used ones, but I can
Much
look
black and
into,
white.
there might be a surplus where people say, hey, we swapped out this task lighting and sell it as a lot and 40 of this bulb or something. There may be a market for it. I just have to look
Yeah,
at it.
if we can get any credit for the 34.
Yeah, or even just sell them to somebody.
Yeah,
They all work but they've been installed for,
just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Yeah. So items from the mayor and councilors. Well, I have one. I'd like,
I'm sorry, is it okay to ask a question?
well, let me finish what I was going to say. I'd like to thank Councilor Shriash for her service here for the city of Vernonia, and I wish you all the best in the future, whatever you're going to do. So thank you again for your service, Sherry.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Been a pleasure to have her on council.
Yep.
And
Thank you, Sharice. Been good working with you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Anything else? Dale?
So Donald and I have been down doing the docks and with Ed Toss. I want to really express that with Donald, Councilor Norman, that it's really been a pleasure working with him down there. I think our minds kind of click most of the time. It's this idea and then, oh yeah, what if we do this? And, it just worked very well, but I think we were very fortunate. Donald with all these heavy equipment.
Yeah.
To do that job without that kind of equipment.
It's going to cost 24 grand.
Yeah. I mean, it did save this a lot of money. And
He'll send his bill.
yeah,
Well, I told Mitch, I'm like, where should I go get lunch for everyone? And he's like, these guys just came. They already ate.
we already ate,
And I'm like, dang it. I was going to go get everybody a lunch.
but Thursday.
Yeah, I'll get it Thursday. I'll hit Thursday. Don't eat ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was very gracious of Lyda to come up and offload
Yeah.
with theirs front end loader at first, but there you could see the reservations and, there's a liability factor.
Yeah.
there. And it's kind of a tough bridge to cross, especially for a big business like that, and it would have been a logistical nightmare of, oh, we need this moved, back and forth, and we just had the equipment there. It went very, very smoothly today. It better than I hoped for. So,
I'd piggyback on that it's because of your skill.
yeah.
It's not just your equipment, Donald. And they're like, don't look Josette. And I was like, oh.
I told her, don't scream when she sees and pick it up because it really bothers me.
Dale's like, don't scream when he picks it up. And I'm like, okay, not going to scream.
I'd like to personally thank you and Dale and Donald for their volunteer work.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Awesome.
Like Josette said, it saved us a lot of money, thousands of dollars.
It's kind of like toys with toys, though.
Well,
300 bolts. My shoulders are a little
this town was built by loggers,
Right.
and there's two right here. So
Yeah. Well, most of the really cool stuff we've done on our own, right?
Yep.
I mean, we kind of figure it out. It's awesome.
Glad it went well.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, you still got your hand out there. I don't know if we're taking questions.
Oh, it's just 1 minute to understand how the council works. You were saying that if you were asking the citizen to vote and then they chose something, but then the council chose something different, then it might be a clash. But the council was elected by the people of Vernonia. So if the people of Vernonia choose something, doesn't the council have a moral obligation to follow the referendum or not? I don't know, it's my first.
Well, in a formal type of vote, they would. But what we've had before is we've done like an informal survey and people thought, oh, I'm voting for this. And then when the informal surveys got tallied, the council still didn't believe it was the best direction to go with what
It was just
the
an opinion, it was not a formal.
right. And that's why I'm saying, please give your opinion to the council. And then those 5 people are the only votes.
Yeah, you can present arguments.
Yes. And then they are going to vote whether they want to do it or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
That's what I was trying. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. Thanks.
Thank you all for attending tonight. I'll adjourn this meeting.
You want my action item summary real quick?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to notify the neighbors on G Street of any upcoming special work sessions on enforcement code. We're going to look into changing Louisiana to 20 miles. Can we do it? We're going to place the signs on Louisiana, have PD presence in the radar trailer. And Rick's got 2 people going to the city county dinner. Counselor Norman's got 1. We're going to order the signs per council consensus for the no smoking in parks. And we're going to order the pole for the cameras. And January 20th is the Dark Skies Initiative tabled coming back. Did I miss anything?
I'm just curious, are you going to ask about lower than 20 or you're only willing to go to 20? Because I know.
No, I'm going to look, 25s are
15.
state law.
Right.
I'm going to look, can you even change it?
Okay.
Can you pick what you change it to? All of the background of that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just wrote 20 because that was, yeah. If we can choose whatever it is, we may go to 15, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. I think if we're going to table the Dark Skies Initiative, we needed to have a motion to do so. Correct?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Just a technicality.
That's good. Somebody make a motion to table it.
Yeah, that's my first point of order.
Good job. Council President, he's on it.
Well, I'll make a motion that we table the Dark Skies Initiative till January 20th.
There's
It's official.
There's second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
1 nay. Motion carried.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Asked you, yeah.
Okay, I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:33. Meeting adjourned.
I mean, I support asking the businesses, but we could have.
So everybody go out to the library and take a look at the lights.